You know that feeling. It's 3 a.m. The house is quiet, the world is asleep, but you're wide awake, staring at the ceiling. Maybe your mind won't stop racing, or your body just won't settle, and by morning, you're dragging through the day, wondering why sleep feels like a battle now that you're over 60. Well, here's the good news. It's not just getting older. The truth is, many of us are making a few simple bedtime mistakes, habits that sneak in over the years and quietly steal our sleep. But the better news, fixing them is easier than you think. Today I'm sharing 5 common bedtime mistakes people over 60 make, and exactly how to stop them so you can wake up feeling refreshed, not frustrated. Let's start with the first one, because this might surprise you. Mistake number 1, going to bed too early. Now I know what you're thinking, but isn't early to bed, early to rise the golden rule? Not necessarily. Here's why. As we age, our internal clock, what doctors call our circadian rhythm, shifts naturally. You might feel sleepy earlier in the evening, and that's fine. But if you're crawling into bed at 8 p.m. just because, you could be setting yourself up for those frustrating midnight wake-ups. Think of sleep like a battery. If you plug in too soon, you'll charge up by midnight. And then, your body says, done. And boom, you're awake at 2 a.m. with nowhere to go. The fix. Instead of forcing an early bedtime, listen to your body. If you're truly tired at 8 p.m., go for it. But if you're just going to bed out of habit, try pushing it back by 30-minute increments until you find your natural sweet spot, where you fall asleep and stay asleep longer. Mistake number 2, the nightcap trick. The evening glass of wine or a little something to help you unwind. It's a ritual for many of us, and it feels like it helps at first. But here's the catch. Alcohol is a fake friend when it comes to sleep. Yes, it might make you drowsy initially, but as your body processes it, alcohol actually disrupts your sleep cycle. It blocks deep, restorative sleep, the kind you need to feel refreshed, and can trigger those dreaded 3 a.m. wake-ups as your blood sugar dips and your brain kicks into alert mode. The fix. Try cutting off alcohol at least 3 hours before bed. Swap it for a caffeine-free herbal tea, like chamomile or tart cherry, both have natural sleep aids, or even warm milk with a dash of honey. If you do enjoy a drink, make it earlier in the evening and pair it with water to lessen the impact. Now, these first 2 changes alone can make a huge difference in how you sleep. But we're just getting started. In the next part, we'll tackle 3 more bedtime mistakes you might not even realize you're making, including the one thing most seniors do right before bed that actually worsens insomnia. You've already taken the first steps toward better sleep by rethinking your bedtime and that evening nightcap. But here's something you might not realize. Some of the things we do thinking they'll help us sleep actually backfire spectacularly. Take this next mistake, for example. It's something so many of us do with the best intentions, especially when sleep feels just out of reach. Mistake number 3, watching the clock and counting the hours. Raise your hand if this sounds familiar. You wake up in the middle of the night, and what's the first thing you do? You check the time. 2:37 a.m. If I fall back asleep now, I can still get 4 more hours. But here's the cruel irony. The more you focus on the time, the harder it becomes to drift off again. Why? Because staring at that clock, or your phone, turns sleep into a math problem, and your brain into an anxious calculator. Even worse? The blue light from digital clocks or screens tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime, shutting down your natural melatonin production, the very hormone that helps you sleep. The fix: turn your clock away from your bed. Better yet, banish it entirely. If you wake up, don't know how to check the time. Instead, practice the 15-minute rule. If you're not back asleep in 15 minutes, get up and do something boring in dim light, like reading a physical book. No screens, no excitement, just quiet until sleepiness returns. Mistake number 4, the "I'll just rest my eyes" nap trap. After a rough night, that afternoon, nap feels heavenly. But here's the hard truth. Long or late naps are stealing from your nighttime sleep. As we age, our bodies produce less deep sleep naturally. So when you nap too long or too late in the day, you're essentially borrowing from the sleep you should be getting at night. And guess what? Your body will collect that debt by keeping you wide awake when you actually need rest. The fix: if you must nap, keep it to 20 minutes max and never after 3 p.m. Set an alarm if you have to. This gives you the benefits of a quick energy boost without sabotaging your night. Better yet, try a coffee nap. Drink a small cup of coffee. Yes, really. Then, immediately take your 20-minute nap. The caffeine kicks in just as you wake up, doubling the refreshment. Now, these two mistakes, clock watching and late naps, are huge sleep saboteurs, but they're also some of the easiest to fix. And in the next part, we'll tackle the final bedtime mistake. This one's a biggie, plus how to tie all these changes together so you can finally enjoy the deep, restful sleep you deserve. You know, when we're younger, we take sleep for granted, like it's some automatic function that'll always be there when we need it. But after 60, we realize just how precious those restful nights really are. And that brings me to the biggest bedtime mistake of all, the one that quietly ruins sleep for so many seniors. Mistake number 5, ignoring your evening wind-down routine. Think about this. If you had an important meeting first thing in the morning, you'd prepare, right? You'd pick out your clothes, review your notes, maybe even get to bed a little earlier. But when it comes to sleep, something that affects every part of your health, how many of us actually prepare for it? Too often we treat bedtime like an on-off switch. We're watching the news, or worse, stressful shows, scrolling through our phones, or even paying bills right up until we turn out the lights. Then we wonder why our minds are racing as soon as our heads hit the pillow. Here's the science behind it. Our brains need transition time to shift from awake to asleep. When we don't give them that, it's like slamming the brakes on a speeding car. Everything jerks to an uncomfortable stop. The fix: create a 60-minute buffer zone before bed. This is your time to dim the lights. This triggers melatonin production. Swap screens for a book or calming music. Write down any worries in a to think about tomorrow list. Try gentle stretches or deep breathing. And here's a pro tip. Make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. Cool, dark, and quiet, with your bed used only for sleep, not TV or worrying. This trains your brain to associate the space with rest. Bringing it all together. Let's quickly recap these 5 game-changing fixes. 1. Stop going to bed too early. Find your natural sleep window. 2. Ditch the nightcap, or at least move it earlier. 3. Turn your clock away and stop counting hours. 4. Nap smart, 20 minutes max, never after 3 p.m. 5. Create a proper wind-down routine. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds like a lot to change at once. And you're right. The key is to start small. Pick one mistake that resonates most with you and focus on that for a week. When that becomes habit, add another. Remember, poor sleep isn't an inevitable part of aging. It's often just the result of habits we've picked up over the years. And habits can be changed. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these mistakes surprised you most? Have you already tried fixing one? What worked or didn't? Your experiences could help fellow viewers just like you. If this video helped you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and share it with a friend who's also struggling with sleep. And don't forget to subscribe for more practical tips to make your later years your best years. Here's to your next morning, waking up refreshed, energized, and ready to enjoy every moment. Because at this stage of life, every good night's sleep is a gift, and you deserve that gift. Sweet dreams, my friend. See you in the next video.